So thank you again all for joining us to the information session on Wilmette Institute Social Transformation Certificate Program. Why don't we jump in and talk a little bit about what it is? Maybe the next slide. So what is this program? What's really nice about this program is that it is a tuition-free program. So it's fully online. So wherever you are, as long as you can get on Zoom, you'll be able to join us. It's an academic program. It is definitely rigorous in the sense that it is graduate level. We are designing our courses, our pedagogy, which is the way in which we teach, through the Baha'i-inspired framework for action, which really asks us to center spiritual principles when thinking about not only the courses, but the way that we engage in society. We do in our courses not only discuss theoretical concepts and ideas, but we also ask us, everyone, to think about applying these concepts through a process that we call action, study, consultation, and reflection. And so that's embedded in the course. You will have a course project that you will be the driver of. And that's where you're going to be applying a lot of what you're learning. So you'll learn a concept in probably more than one unit. We really do deep dives. We believe that depth is really, really valuable. And so we want to take time with some of these concepts. So you might study a concept 1 or 2 or possibly even 3 units. And then you will also be taking this concept out into your community to go see how this concept lives and breathes with your friends, with people that you collaborate with organizations that you're working with. And so that's kind of the application part. And so this will become your course project. You're moving the knowledge that you're learning and the concepts that you're learning out into the community where it can actually get some oxygen and kind of have others help you think about these concepts that we're learning collectively here. So it's a very engaged course. It also asks you to think critically. We really ask people to, including our own selves, to really be critical of the assumptions that we bring into spaces. So when we think about social issues, how can we critically examine our own assumption about those social issues? And what do we think the root cause might be of the social issue? Because we know that if we want to create transformation, we have to go at the root of something, right? And it's at the root in which then you begin to create change. And so if we don't know the root cause of a social issue, it'll be difficult to consider transforming that issue that is causing problems. Also in the social transformation certificate program, we really focus on empowerment. It is not about transference of knowledge, so it's not about transferring what I know to you. Rather, it's about a process of empowerment in which we both become empowered through our engagement in this course. So there's this concept that we call protagonist, right? And a protagonist is somebody who recognizes their own agency and is able to utilize their agency to create transformation, both individually and collectively. Our goal in our courses is to create an environment that really empowers this agency within each of the participants in each class. So that kind of gives you an idea of the ways in which these courses are carried out and how it is that we kind of the process through which we carry the courses through. Maybe I can pause for a moment and Nikki can share a little more about why tuition free, right? Because that might be a question that comes up like, well, how can this be a tuition free program? And we have some strong understandings about that.
So this really is part of our mission statement, Wilmette Institute's mission. We aim to attract diverse students, and of course, we don't want to add to their student loan debt. We looked at the research. Research shows that tuition-free programs in higher education increase graduation rates and produce a better educated workforce. And when we say education, we're not talking about just the knowledge and the skills that people go to colleges or universities or institutions of higher learning for, but that what Ema was talking about, they becoming a protagonist of social transformation in their communities is what we want. And we want this so much that we want to make it easier for people. So we are a privately funded nonprofit organization under the National Spiritual Assembly of Baha'is of the United States. And we have some private funding, and this is what our donors and our governing body, which is we're an agency of that spiritual assembly. This is what we want at this point in time. So there's no catch, except we do expect and want students to give their honest, frank, open feedback. So there are feedback forms for each course, and throughout the course, we want your feedback on the program. And we have developed our curriculum in response to some of the feedback that we've gotten over the years. Ema can attest to this as a curriculum designer.
Yes. Yeah. Feedback is definitely a part of the process of learning. So this movement of study, consultation, action, and reflection, we go through as well. And so you're part of that for us, right? Your feedback allows us to kind of really think more critically about our courses and refine them through this process. We're going to move to the next slide that's going to tell you, okay, now we've just given you the process. Let's look at where this lands. So the Social Transformation Certificate Program has currently 4 courses, okay? And so these courses are catalysts of social change, where we really look at how do we create the change that we want in society. And in this course, we delve deep into this topic and really, again, through these spiritual principles, look critically at what it is that change makers have been engaged in, what have we been engaged in, and how do we advance collectively. The next course is Sweeping Changes in Humanity's Relationship with the Natural World. And that's really looking at, again, our relationship with, the environment, with all the beings in that environment, right? So the plants and the animals, the mineral kingdom, what does that look like, our relationship with that? And what is being asked of us today? And so that's another course that we offer. We also know that a very important topic and issue of transformation that needs to occur is one that addresses racism. And so the course that we've developed, Redefining Race, really asks us to go to the root cause of what is racism, and how do we create transformative pathways out of it. And so Redefining Race is one that is going to help us really begin that process. And when I say begin, my assumption is not that you have not already begun that process. I am sure that you and your ancestors have begun that process long, long ago. However, how you will begin it with us here in the Wilmette Institute. And then finally, transforming education. Education, we know, is not only a necessity, it is a right. And so how do we really transform the way we understand education? And you can see from the title, the full title is Transforming Education, Knowing, Learning, and Being, that we really aim to, again, strengthen folks' understanding of education from a much wider lens. And think about how what learning looks like with multiple communities, not just the ones in which maybe we have engagement with, in particular in formal structures of learning, although we'll look at those as well. So these are the 4 courses. Each one addresses a very important issue in society. These courses, you have you can complete 3 of the 4 courses within 2 years to get your certificate. And we have found that generally it will take about 8 to 10 hours of weekly study in order to complete successfully the course. And it will take 16 weeks. We have made the courses now 16 weeks to really, again, stretch out your time with the courses and strengthen your time with the content and the concepts. And I know there'll be questions, so please don't worry. We'll get to your questions. But thank you, Nikki, for responding also. Maybe the next slide. So this fall, we have 2 courses that we're offering. And so we have Catalysts of Social Change, right? Again, looking at
So good.
the issues of social change, and how do we create it? Nikki, thank you. And then the other course is Sweeping Changes in Humanity's Relationship with the Natural World, right? And how do we really address the issues of our relationship with the environment, right? So these are the 2 that are going to be offered this fall. You saw that the other 2 will be offered in January. All right, let's go to the next one. Oh, and the deadline for the application of those is July 21st. Is that right? Did I see that right?
Yes, next Monday.
Okay. So how can you become eligible? So in your educational level has to be at an associate's degree or higher. You can also be currently enrolled in a bachelor's program with at least the first 2 years completed. Because we are at a graduate level, we want folks who really have that understanding of study really within academic environments, which having an associate's degree or it being in a bachelor's program allows you to have. You also need to have, currently the classes are in English, and so you have to have a strong command of the English language, being able to write. You are going to be writing a paper. You will be presenting, so you want to make sure that you can express fully your thoughts in English. And then and one of the requirements is that participants have to reside either in Canada or the United States. And within the United States, there are certain places that WI is authorized, but our awesome Nikki has always checking to make sure that folks are in those places. And then maybe go to the next one. So the application process, it's an online application form, and this is a live link. That's the one that you see underlined. And so in there, you're going to have references, an admissions essay. There's 5 topics to choose from, and an admissions survey. You'll also be interviewed through Zoom. And then the admissions committee will make the final decision with the scoring rubric. Maybe Nikki, do you want to share a few more things about this?
I would say the interview is very important, so everyone will be interviewed. We're looking not just at what you say in your essay, because people can write a wonderful essay, but we're looking for more information about you as a person, and also, where this fits into your life. We want this to be not just you fitting with us, but us fitting with you. And yeah. So that's the most important part. I mean, we want you to write a nice essay as well. We want to hear your voice. We don't encourage the use of ChatGPT. We don't want our students to use large language models to write for them. We want you to develop your own voice and write, in your own way. So yeah, I would say apply by the deadline if you want to join. Yeah. And if you don't have official transcripts, you don't have to send them in now after we interview you. If you pass that stage and we want to admit you, then you can get those transcripts later on. So don't let that be a hurdle if you haven't got transcripts to send in just yet.
And maybe we can go hear what our our students have shared about this program in this next part. And then after that, we can open up some questions.
I was actually thinking about just how much I loved the cohesion between the two classes, the education course as well as the race course. And I also really loved how music was incorporated into this class. Like I had that massive revelation with the Bob Marley song, you know, with the worldview, and I was like, oh my God, what is my life? I super enjoyed that.
So to me, really moving to the United States I don't think I have encountered the complexity of race, or maybe I overlooked them as they were not very pronounced or serious around me. So this class, along with the Wilmette Institute courses as a whole, has provided one of the most meaningful ways for me to engage with these important topics within the context of this country's unique reality, actually. So I'm deeply grateful to each of you for being part of this journey of learning, and it's an inclusion journey for me, really.
All right, and this is the faculty that will be teaching this fall, so yours truly will be one of them, which is really fun. Yeah, so maybe we can open it up and see if there's any questions or thoughts.